How much oppression can people endure? When faced with hunger, misery, and injustice, at what point do they rise up? Émile Zola's Germinal is a powerful novel depicting the harsh lives of coal miners in 19th century France and their struggle against exploitation. As one of the greatest works of literary realism, Germinal presents a gripping tale of hunger, poverty, oppression, and class conflict, making it one of the most significant social novels ever written. The story begins with a young, unemployed man, Étienne Lantier, arriving in the mining town of Montsou in search of work. Having lost his previous job due to an altercation, he is desperate and hungry. Work in the mines is brutal and dangerous, but left with no other choice, Étienne decides to take a job and enters the dark, suffocating world of coal mining. Étienne meets the Mahou family, who take him in and introduce him to the grueling life of the miners. He soon becomes aware of the terrible working conditions, long hours, meager wages, and constant accidents that the miners endure. Meanwhile, the bourgeois, the wealthy elite who own the mines, live in comfort and luxury, completely indifferent to the suffering of the workers. As he settles into his new life, Étienne becomes increasingly aware of the deep injustices of the system. He begins to read socialist literature and is inspired by revolutionary ideas. Believing that the miners deserve better treatment and higher wages, he starts discussing these ideas with his fellow workers, slowly gaining their trust and convincing them that change is possible. However, many of the miners are skeptical, fearing they could lose their jobs or face severe consequences. One of the miners' greatest struggles is the continuous reduction in wages, despite the increasing demands of the mine owners. The workers are pushed to their limits, barely able to feed their families. Encouraged by Étienne's leadership, they decide to take a stand and organize a strike. However, what begins as a peaceful protest soon turns into a desperate battle for survival. As the strike continues, hunger and desperation take hold of the miners and their families. Days turn into weeks and their suffering deepens. Tensions rise when strikebreakers are brought in to replace the protesting workers. Enraged and hopeless, the miners take to the streets, leading to violent confrontations. Eventually, driven by sheer frustration, they storm the homes of the mine owners, demanding justice. But the bourgeoisie respond with force, using the police and military to crush the rebellion, leading to a brutal crackdown on the workers. With the strike escalating, the town descends into chaos. The miners, pushed to their limits, attempt to retaliate against their oppressors, while the wealthy elite use their influence to suppress the uprising. Étienne, though initially passionate about workers' rights, did not anticipate the extent of the violence and destruction that would unfold. The situation spirals out of control, and the clash between the working class and the ruling elite reaches a breaking point. In the midst of this turmoil, a deadly explosion occurs in the mine, trapping many workers underground. This catastrophe serves as a stark reminder of the constant danger that miners face daily. Étienne barely escapes with his life, emerging from the ruins of the mine with a newfound realization. Although the strike may have failed, the fight for workers' rights has only just begun. As he leaves Montsou, he understands that the seeds of revolution have been planted and that change will come, even if not immediately. Zola's Germinal is more than just a novel about a miner's strike. It is a deep exploration of class struggle and the destructive effects of unchecked capitalism. The novel vividly portrays the suffering of the working class, emphasizing the stark contrast between the rich and the poor. The hardship faced by the miners is depicted not only as an individual tragedy, but as a collective social issue. While the miners' families starve, the mine owners grow wealthier. This stark inequality showcases the helplessness of the working class, but also the power of unity and resistance. Zola's meticulous realism brings the suffering of the miners to life. Through his detailed descriptions, the reader feels the physical and emotional pain of the workers, experiencing their exhaustion, hunger, and despair. But amidst the darkness, Germinal also highlights the strength found in solidarity, showing how a united working class can become a force of change. Do you think the struggles of the working class still exist today? How have the social inequalities described by Zola changed over time? Share your thoughts in the comments.